storming bracket!
False Positive is a 2021 film that is an A24 film and at the same time also a Hula exclusive. This is a movie that I didn't really know too much about, but in case you guys do need to know a little bit about it, I can explain the premise. It is about a couple that is trying to be pregnant. Unfortunately, they aren't really able to, so they go to a doctor played by Pierce Brosnan, where he is able to help them out through the process and help them out with getting pregnant. Strange things also start to occur, and then so ensues the movie. This movie, I can't lie, about halfway into it, I was saying to myself, why does this have mixed reviews? This movie seems quite entertaining. It's very slick. And the movie continued. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but I will say this movie made me feel quite mixed. But with the positives, I will say again, it is very slick looking. Like the cinematography gives this very sterile look to it that I really thought was cool, especially with how the usage of white especially was very apparent. And I really liked it. It's a very stylish choice. I thought it really was effective. Pacing and tone also are really consistent. I think that this movie, generally speaking, is pretty fast paced, and I never felt myself being bored by this movie. I was consistently entertained. I also enjoyed the performances for the most part. There is one performance in particular that I was a bit iffy on, but for the most part, the acting was decent. And I also think that there are certain scenes where there is a heavy focus on visual storytelling, and I thought that was something that was also really welcoming, so to speak. But I want to get into the negatives now, because again, halfway into the movie, I was quite enjoying myself, but then the movie continued and it really fell off the rails. There's a lot of things that happen in the third act just because. There's a twist that occurs that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and the ending itself too, I also was like, oh no, you gotta be kidding me. And what's worse too is that the dialogue towards the third act, it's not good. And I'm usually able to pass on that kind of stuff. I'm like, whatever. But I wasn't. There's one line in particular that I was like, oh my goodness. I think it comes from Gretchen Mol. Oh my goodness. It's a terrible line. It's really bad. Like, it feels like something out of a video game. I was genuinely speaking surprised. But it's not even just that. It's that this movie, halfway into it, as I mentioned, I knew that this was something along the lines of like Rosemary's Baby. Like, there's no denying it. Like, I own Rosemary's Baby. I love it. It's one of my favorite films. And you just can't help but watch False Positive and really think about Rosemary's Baby. I mean, heck, Justin Theroux's character literally is named after one of the characters of Rosemary's Baby. So it's very obvious and it's very apparent. And I really appreciate, to an extent, the fact that there is a director that wants to make a movie kind of similar to Rosemary's Baby. But the difference is that it's 2/3 similar to Rosemary's Baby. The third act deviates. And I appreciate the fact that it deviates, but it deviates into schlock, essentially. And I just wasn't able to really get into that. I wasn't able to vibe with that, me personally. Now, if there are people that do like False Positive, especially the third act, that's fine. But for me, it just didn't really work. Where Rosemary's Baby's third act really elevated the film to be like from a really good film to an excellent film, False Positive made the movie from somewhat entertaining to I'm not going to remember in a day. And I think that that's a shame because, again, I think that when you're dealing with material that's been done before and you make it your own towards the end, you want to have it where it's actually something that kind of sticks with you, but not in like a bad way. And unfortunately, False Positive isn't able to rise to the occasion in that regards. I've also heard some people say that they were offended by False Positive. I personally wasn't, but if you were offended, I guess I can understand where you're coming from. But again, for me personally, it was just more of like a missed opportunity. I appreciate with what it was going for. I just think that it didn't fully work. I do think that there was much to be desired. I do also think that, again, some of the line deliveries towards the end just wasn't a big fan of, and I'm also not a fan of when characters just do things just because. And that was definitely the case with this movie. Also, the twist, man, just doesn't work. Again, you can watch half of this movie and you'll say to yourself, this is pretty decent suspense, but wow, it really fell off the rails. So, False Positive for me personally, again, I'm kind of still in shock about like just how far off the rails it fell. But yeah, False Positive, I personally will be giving a 2.5 out of 5 star rating. So no hot sauce rating. Missed opportunity. But guys, False Positive, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, with the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.